Yashodana Jana Ravanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Pariviraj Gacharya Ashtottara Shata Srimad A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Pariviraj Gacharya Ashtottara Shata Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridasa Thakur Ki Jai. Namaskar Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shiva Sari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Vindam Ki Jai. Navadipdam Ki Jai. Maturadam Ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulasi Devi Ki Jai, Yamuna Mai Ki Jai, Ganga Mai Ki Jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to these. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. So we'll be studying from Srimad Bhagavatam, and it's canto number 2. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. And would you pass me that? Thank you. Okay. So Srimad Bhagavatam, second canto, entitled, let's see here, The Cosmic Manifestation, chapter number 4, The Process of Creation. And today we're on text 17. Tapasvinaha Dhanaparaha Yashas Vinaha Manas Vinaha Mantravidaha Sumangalaha Kshemam Na Vindanti Vina Yat Arpanam Tasmai Subhadra Shravase Namaha Namaha. Tapasvino Dhanaparaya Shavino मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः क्षेमं न विदन्ति विनाय दर्पणम् तस्मै सुभद्रश्रवसे नमो नमः तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः क्षेमं न विन्दन्ति विनाय दर्पणम् तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः क्षेमं न विन्दन्ति विनाय दर्पणम् तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः
Tapasvino Danaparaya Shasvino
तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो
Manasvino Mantravida Sumangalaha
मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः
Shemang Navindanti Vinaya Darpanam
क्षेमं न विदन्ति विनाय दर्पणम्
Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha
तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः
Pasvino dana paraya svisvino
तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो
manasvino mantra vidhas mangala
मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः
kshamamna vidanti vinaya darpanam
क्षेमं न विदन्ति विनाय दर्पणम्
Smai subhadra sravase namo namaha
तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः
Tap- Tapasvino dana paraya yashvino
तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो
manasvino mantra vida sumangalaha
मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः
shemam naviranti vinaya darpanam
क्षेमं न विदन्ति विनामदर्पणम्
tasmai shavase namo
तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः
Asvino danaparaya shasvino
तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो
manasvino mantra vidhas mangala
मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः
Shimamna Vedanti Vinaya Arpanam
क्षेमं न विदन्ति विनाय दर्पणम्
Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha
तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः
Tapasvino Danaparaya Shashvino
तपस्विनो दानपराय यशस्विनो
Manasvino Mantravidai Sumangalaha
मनस्विनो मन्त्रविदा सुमङ्गलाः
Shemam Navidanti Vinaya Darpanam
क्षेमं न विदन्ति विनाय दर्पणम्
Tasmai Subhadra Shavase Namo Namaha
तस्मै सुभद्राश्रवसे नमो नमः
Asvino dana paraya shashvino.
Tapasvino dana paraya shashvino.
Manasvino mantra vidha sumangala.
Manasvino mantra vidha sumangalaha.
Shemam navindanti vinaya darpanam.
Kshemam naviranti vinaya darpanam.
Tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha.
Tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha.
Tapasvino dana paraya shashvino.
Tapasvino dana paraya shashvino.
Manasvino mantra vida sumangala.
Manasvino mantra vida sumangala.
Shemam navidanti vinayadarpanam.
Kshemam naviranti vinaya darpanam.
Tasmai subhadra shravase namo nama.
Tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha.
Sami. Dhamma para yisvino.
Tapasvino dana paraya shasvino.
Namasvino mantra vidha samangala.
Manasvino mantra vida sumangalaha.
Shemam navindanti vinaya darpanam.
Kshemam naviranti vinaya darpanam.
Tasmai subhadra shavas namo namaha.
Tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha.
Tapasvino dana paraya shasvino.
Tapasvino dana paraya shashvino.
Manasvino mantra vidaha sumangalaha.
Manasvino mantra vida sumangalaha.
Shemamna vidanti vinayatarpanam.
Kshemam naviranti vinaya darpanam.
Tasmai subhadra shravase namo namaha.
Tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha. Tapasvinaha, the great learned sages. Danaparaha, the great performer of charity. Yashashvinaha, the great worker of distinction. Manasvinaha, the great philosophers or mystics. Mantravidaha, the great chanter of the Vedic hymns. Sumangalaha, strict followers of Vedic principles. Kshemam, fruitful result. Na, never. Vindanti, attain. Vina, without. Yat arpanam, dedication. Tasmai, unto him. Subhadra, auspicious. Shravase, hearing about him. Namaha, my obeisances. Namaha, again and again. Translation. Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of the Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitful result without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord. Purport. Advancement of learning, a charitable disposition, political, social, or religious leadership of human society, philosophical speculations, the practice of the yoga system, expertise in the Vedic rituals, and all similar high qualities in man serve one in the attainment of perfection only when they are employed in the service of the Lord. Without such dovetailing, all such qualities become sources of trouble for people in general. Everything can be utilized either for one's own sense gratification or in the service of one other than oneself. There are two kinds of self-interest also, namely personal selfishness and extended selfishness. But there is no qualitative difference between personal and extended selfishness. Theft for personal interest or for the family interest is of the same quality, namely criminal. A thief pleading not guilty because of committing theft not for personal interest, but for the interest of society or country has never been excused by the established law of any country. People in general have no knowledge that the self-interest of a living being attains perfection only when such an interest coincides with the interest of the Lord. For example, what is the interest of maintaining body and soul together? One earns money for maintenance of the body, personal or social, but unless there is God consciousness, unless the body is being properly maintained to realize one's relation with God, all good efforts to maintain body and soul together are similar to the attempts of the animals to maintain body and soul together. The purpose of maintaining the human body is different from that of the animals. Similarly, advancement of learning, economic development, philosophical research, study in the Vedic literature, or even the execution of pious activities like charity, opening of hospitals, and the distribution of food grains should be done in relation with the Lord. The aim of all such acts and endeavors must be the pleasure of the Lord and not the satisfaction of any other identity, individual or collective. Sangsiddhir Haritoshanam. In the Bhagavad Gita 9.27, the same principle is confirmed, where it is said that whatever we may give in charity or whatever we may observe in austerity must be given over to the Lord or be done on his account only. The expert leaders of a godless human civilization cannot bring about a fruitful result in all their different attempts at educational advancement or economic development unless they are God conscious. And to become God conscious, one has to hear about the all auspicious Lord, as he is described in literature like the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Tapasvino dhana para yashashvino manasvino mantravida sumangalaha kshemam navidanti vina yadarpanam tasmai subhadra shavase namo namaha. Translation: Let me offer my respectful obeisances unto the all-auspicious Lord Sri Krishna again and again, because the great learned sages, the great performers of charity, the great workers of distinction, the great philosophers and mystics, the great chanters of the Vedic hymns, and the great followers of Vedic principles cannot achieve any fruitful result without dedication of such great qualities to the service of the Lord. So, the verse enumerates or names all different high qualifications which can be found within human society, right? These are all nice things. And the point which is being made here is that all such nice things will not bring any fruitful result, right? So if you toil and you labor over the land, and you sow some seeds, care for them, and there's no fruit, then what does that mean? That means that all that labor is just for its own sake, you know? Because there's no result, fruitful result. So a tree can be judged by the fruit. So we judge, okay, your practices or your lifestyle or your philosophy, is it bearing nice fruit? So we may be very proud and we may be very enthusiastic and we may be heavy duty preachers for any one of these good qualities or good activities in human society. But such qualities or such activities like charity and penance and mysticism and all these things, it's fruitless unless it's dovetailed in the service of the Lord. So the word dovetail, I did not really understand it for some time, why that word was used, but somebody was explaining once, and this is something that kind of made sense to me. Vasily, there's a joint, right, in carpentry called a dovetail, right? And it's like you make two pieces and they fit together like a puzzle, right? So basically these two pieces, they join. So we take our qualities and we join them with this dovetail practice with the Lord's service, right? So they fit together. So we may have a propensity for charity and for mysticism or for a study of the Vedas, and we want to get a lot of knowledge. All that has to be dovetailed in the service of the Lord, right? Or else all that is a useless labor. Why? Because service of the Lord is meant to actually awaken attraction for the Lord. And if our activities do not produce attraction for the Lord or hearing about the Lord, then it's just a useless waste of time, useless labor. Shrama eva hi kevalam. It's only a waste, right? There's also I think it is in the Sri Ishopanishad, Prabhupada is describing how, well, the text itself describes accumulation of knowledge, that actually accumulation of knowledge without service to God is actually, in one sense, more unfortunate. And it can be more dangerous. Having knowledge, but that doesn't lead to service. And the example is given that a cobra or a snake is very dangerous. But when you put a jewel on the cobra, you may think it's more attractive, but it's just as deadly, right? So the accumulation of good qualities, charitable disposition, philosophical exploration, even dabbling in the Vedic knowledge or becoming expert in the Vedic rituals, all that is dangerous for the conditioned soul when he doesn't dovetail. So the real point is that we have to add the service of the Lord. So the Lord's service is like a one. This was spoken about just recently. we have so many zeros. And zeros are an interesting number because very quickly, it's the highest. If you take a number like 100, right? Then you add a zero. Then it becomes times multiplied by 10, right? So we have all these zeros, which are worth nothing without a number in front of them. If you take off the number in front, it's just zeros. So 0, 0, 0, 0, 0 is worth the same as 0, 0. 1 0 is worth the same as 7 zeros. So I may not be equipped with any of these good qualities, right? So then I may have just one fat zero. Somebody may be equipped with all these good qualities. So he has 6 or 7 zeros, but the value is the same unless we add Krishna consciousness or we add service to the Lord. So that adds a 1 in front and the number becomes very great. So all persons who are equipped with all these propensities, they should take seriously this process of Krishna consciousness and dovetail all their good qualities in the service of the Lord without delay. Now there's a training system. It happens gradually, how to use everything we've got. But the principle should be there that manasa deho geho jo kichu more. Arpilu tue pade nande nanda kishore. It's a song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, which means manasa deha geha, my mind, my body, and my family, and all my household paraphernalia, my possessions, my wealth, my objects, my land, whatever it may be in my possession. He says, Jo kichu more, whatever I may have. Arpilu tue pade. That means I will offer it to the feet of Nanda Kishore. Nanda Kishore is a name for Krishna, which means the darling boy of Nanda Maharaj. So it's a name for Krishna, a very beautiful name for Krishna. So we're meant to have that attitude, and step by step, Krishna will arrange and he will say, oh, I see. He knows us better than we know ourselves. So if we start out by receiving instructions from the bona fide spiritual master and his representatives, then slowly, slowly, they'll draw out everything that we have so that nothing is left in the selfishness account, and everything that we do and all that we own is on his account. So there's some examples about this account. I like how Prabhupada uses this on Krishna's account. It's like sometimes like we may have had experience, like somebody may lend you their card or something, like your mother or somebody may give you some card. Oh yeah, you can, use my account, for it. Or, make this purchase, use my account, online payment or whatever, right? Or, we may have some tab at a restaurant or something. Yeah, put it on my tab, right? Something like that, my ticket. Similarly, we are doing activities, but all those activities are meant to go on his ticket, Krishna's ticket, which means that he's the one that enjoys the result. So if he doesn't give sanction for a certain activity, then we shouldn't perform that and say that it's on his ticket, right? Yeah, it's on Krishna's ticket. He will cover me. Then we can be mistaken. So as was being spoken about yesterday, we are meant to understand what is to be done and not to be done from the Mahajanas, right? We have to learn from the devotees how to understand the scripture, how to apply the scripture now for me, right? And that's why the association of devotees is so nice. We heard yesterday one phrase in one of the purports Prabhupada said that the transcendental science becomes clear in the association of devotees. That's very important. So the main thing is association is more powerful with Vani. Vapu is helpful because we're embodied and we're meant to render service to the devotees' bodies as well. But Vani or message is actually more powerful form of association. Therefore, it's stressed here that we have to hear. So, where was it mentioned here? And to become God conscious, right? So Prabhupada was at the end of this was saying, we may, whatever we do, yad kurushva yadashnami, what was it? That's the verse 927. And it states, whatever you do, whatever you eat, as well as whatever you offer and give away, as well as any austerities you may perform, should be done as an offering to me, Krishna says. So Prabhupada quoted that here at the end. He also quoted Bhagavatam, Sangsiddhir Haritoshanam, that we are meant to perform all of our regulated principles. We're meant to perform our duties in society, etc., for the pleasure. Toshanam means pleasure of Hari. Hari means Krishna. Sangsiddhir Haritoshanam. That activity reaches perfection when we actually please Krishna. So our success in Krishna consciousness is our sincere endeavor to please him. That's our success. Our success isn't something, the fruit. The fruit is for him. Krishna's enjoying the fruit. But our success is our sincere effort and our sincere desire to please him. He is appreciating that. And if we've done it, even better. But what can we do? I can't decide if he's pleased. I can only decide to try to please him. Right? It's up to him if he's pleased or not. What can I do? He's a person. You know? So those are some points. Thank you very much. Okay, there's a few minutes. Anybody have something? Okay. Jagannatha Prabhu.
How do we start taking service more seriously?
Well, we have to hear. Prabhupada says here at the end, and to become God conscious, right? One has to hear about the all auspicious Lord. So it's slow. It may be slow, but it's sure. It's slow, but it's sure. Every day, what are we doing? We're hearing Bhagavad Gita. We're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We're chanting Krishna's names and hearing his glorification in the prayers by the acharyas. So it's working. It's working, and it'll work. And we can have good faith that it works because there's many stalwart devotees who have practiced exactly as we are practicing now, to the best of our ability, by the grace of Lord Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. We are practicing the same prescription or the same activities that have been practiced by the most advanced practitioners on the planet. We're doing Prabhupada's program that he delineated. Okay, these are the steps. Mangalarati, XYZ, right? So it's working, and we have to continue, right? And we keep applying ourselves, and by Krishna's grace, and maybe we make a breakthrough here and there. But even if we're struggling with the material desires, we don't give up, right? So our attention is split. Our intelligence is many branched, right? Of course, devotees are different. Devotees' intelligence is one-pointed. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. Vyavasayatmika buddhir means completely determined, fixed intelligence. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains, Prabhupada quoted his commentary, that Vyavasayatmika buddhir means the dedication or a commitment to follow the order of the spiritual master. So how do we get that? We have to associate with those who have it, right? And associate is an active process. Somebody can come and we don't associate very much, but somebody can come and we associate a lot, right? Associate means reveal mind, inquire submissively, offer prasad, accept prasad, right? Share some knowledge or receive some knowledge. In our case, we're mostly interested to receive knowledge from those who have been authorized by the parampara system to explain that to us. So when we hear that type of knowledge, and the best is to hear from Prabhupada. So when we associate with Prabhupada, the idea is, I want to hear it and I want to understand it. I want to assimilate it. I want to submissively accept it into my being. I want to make it a part of myself. Or at the beginning, I want to try to understand. I'm trying to understand what he's saying. If we try to understand somebody, or we try to serve them, or we try to cooperate with them, that means association. So when we do that with devotees who are super excited about serving Guru with all their energy, attention, qualities, everything, then we get it. So if you see a little spark of something in some devotee, take it as a little nectar, a little jewel, appreciate it. What will happen is you will be imbued with those qualities by Krishna's grace, Prabhupada's grace. And so that's why we associate with the pure devotee, and we can develop all those qualities, which are the most wonderful qualities of the pure devotee. There's 26 in number. And we can develop those by associating with Srila Prabhupada and his representatives. So thank you very much, devotees. Let us use everything that we have for Krishna's service day after day. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.